I've been wanting to do a video about getting the chance to meet more trans people, both male and female, and those in between the two. I haven't met any transgender individuals that are bigender or um, agender. I'm not exactly sure what the term is for that, but I assume that it's probably agender, where they don't uh, subscribe to the gender spectrum and they feel that they are outside of that, outside of what we would consider male or female or genderqueer. Um, it's been a very interesting experience so far. Most of the trans women that I've met pass extremely well. There are very few cases where I have seen or had the pleasure of meeting one that doesn't pass as well as they would wish to, as far as I'm aware. Um, but I'm sure that everybody, for the most part, that is trans has some level of dysphoria, whether it's negligible or extreme. Uh, but yeah, most of the trans women that I know pass really well, and I can't really tell the difference. I look at them and I see a woman. Um, and most of the trans men that I know, especially those taking T, pass very well also. Uh, some of them look very youthful, especially if they're not quite on, if they haven't started T yet. Uh, they look like maybe teenage guys. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that they might get carded when they walk into the bar. I certainly get carded, like all the time. I'm 25. Uh, I mean, they're supposed to when you're 25 anyway, but it's a little bit of a pain in the ass when you pull out your card and your legal name is still there because you haven't changed it yet. And by the way, you look like a woman. That's not really a fun experience. So I'm looking forward to getting a new ID uh, with my legal name changed. Hopefully that will happen sometime within the next couple of months. Estrogen and testosterone are very powerful hormones, I would say. It's absolutely amazing the impact that they have on the human body. I know of one trans woman, not mentioning any names, and she looks to me like any natural cisgendered woman out there. She is a gorgeous individual, uh, very talented, very beautiful, and just a nice person to be around in general. Um, and she may not feel that way about herself, and self-confidence, again, is a huge, huge deal. But she looks to me like any other woman out there. She doesn't really look any different to me. There's nothing that I could really say about her that makes me think, aha, so that's what's going on. No, she just looks like a normal woman. And yeah, that's pretty much the same for every other trans woman that I have met. They look like regular cisgendered women to me. But there's an incongruency with trans people between how they see themselves and how the world sees them. Some of us are lucky enough that how we see ourselves is very similar to how the world sees us, especially after taking hormones, maybe doing some voice lessons if that's even necessary, changing how we dress, how we gesticulate or not, how we speak. I guess that goes along with voice lessons or voice training. And I feel particularly sorry for the people that are still having a hard time with being seen as the gender that they prefer, or the lack of gender. Um, I know a few that prefer neutral terms like they, their, them, but they still look very feminine. So on a day-to-day basis, that individual may be misgendered frequently, unless their friends know otherwise, to say they, their, them. And it's the same with Z and Zir. Would you say Zem? I don't know how that works. Zim? I apologize. I'm not that great with gender neutral terms. I have not made myself as familiar as I should. So when it comes to passing, if you happen upon this video and you are feeling particularly dysphoric because of your voice or your clothing or your body shape, my first message is to love yourself. You have the only body you will ever have. You can make changes to it to help yourself be more comfortable, but remember that it's your body. And hating any particular part of it, and this is something I struggle with too, is not healthy, because it's a part of you. Yeah, you can eventually possibly get it removed if you can, if it wouldn't be too taxing on your life or ultimately not beneficial in comparison to what do you need to live a happy life. It's still part of your body that you're dealing with on a daily basis. I personally try not to think about what makes me uncomfortable, and in some ways that gets me into a little bit of trouble, because ultimately sometimes, depending on what it is, I forget. I obviously don't forget about my own body, but I have forgotten other things that are probably not so great to forget about. So again, love yourself, and then move on from there. See what you can change to help yourself be happy. Short-term, long-term, whatever. Take voice training if you need to. Laser hair removal if you need to. Get guys' clothes, or get women's clothes, or get clothes that fall somewhere in between. Wear what you want to wear. Wear what makes you feel good. If it doesn't make you feel good, don't wear it, because you'll probably be more self-conscious. And the vast majority of people that I know that pass really well because they're wearing things that they feel good in. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. It basically covered what I wanted to. Maybe it was a little vague in some areas, and I apologize. But if you stumbled upon this while looking for videos about how to pass better, or dysphoria, or anything like that, love yourself. It does get better. And PM me if you need to talk. Thank you for staying tuned.